All right, gang, this is Rob, and I'm here with Nick. I'm a student that just finished the Zero to IT Hero program. So, what this is going to be for is for people that's looking to get into tech, people that's already in tech, people that's looking to level up in tech. So, we're kind of this month, I'm going to be focusing on students. I got some students from retail, got some students from healthcare, got some students from the military, all different types of places, right? Just to see where they are and kind of where they are now. So, Nick, if you could introduce yourself to whoever the hell decides to listen to this, kind of tell them, who you are, what you were doing, and why you were thinking about getting into tech.
Yeah, so my name's Nick. I'm a mental performance coach. So I work on like the mental side of things with currently the military. So been doing that for about 2.5 years specifically with the military, but I've been in mental performance coaching for about 7 years, just kind of, wanting to change into a different role. I found technology very interesting, and specifically the cybersecurity portion I thought was very interesting. And I know that the market, as not good as it is right now, it's not good for anyone right now, but I know the opportunities for cybersecurity are definitely out there and much more prominent than other areas. So that's kind of what happened with the switch. And I'm interested in learning about it and also getting more proficient at cybersecurity.
Got you. So, being a mental performance coach, right? We're used to kind of dealing with people that mindsets might be off, may not be productive, may not be doing the things that they wanted to do, right? So, you should have had the mental aspect already. So, you knew it was going to have challenges, so on and so forth, but you're human. So, what was kind of something that you weren't expecting? So, when you started your journey, you may have thought it was going to be one way. Was it that way? Was it different? Or what did that look like?
I would say going into something that is completely different than my position was probably the hardest part, because
Right.
I don't know the information. So I basically I have a master's, so I have the experience of school and studying and all of that stuff. So I think that helped kick in a little bit, but definitely in the beginning, just all like the large amount of information that you need to know to get the certs is definitely the hardest part. If you can have that mindset of, when things get difficult, what are you going to do? What are you going to change? If you need to change something, just try to like keep pushing at that and find efficient ways to study so that you're not having to study for like 30, 40 hours a week, but it's more of an efficient way of being able to do that.
Got you. So, did you have a clear cut picture on like what you wanted to do, or you kind of found that out like throughout the program, or did you kind of know before you started, or what did that look like as far as the direction you want to go in?
You mean like what role I would want to get into for
Right.
cybersecurity?
What field? Yep.
I had absolutely no clue coming in.
Right.
I've been trying to do a bit of research now, and over the past like month or so, as I've been getting closer to getting that Sec Plus cert. So right now, I'm probably leaning more on the blue team side. So I've looked at SOC, things like that, maybe like a threat hunter or something like that. I don't know if threat hunting is blue team or purple team.
Right. Okay.
But somewhere along those lines, I still definitely have a lot more research to do, figuring out what specific role I want to go for.
Okay, got you. So, with that being said, have we applied to jobs? Have we started to kind of see if anybody likes us? What does that look like?
I have not. I know I've failed in that
Shame on you.
aspect.
You
I
failed.
know.
Yes, you did. Let's
I know.
fuck it. The interview over with, man. Never mind. Go ahead.
In my mind, like it was very difficult for me to apply to jobs without having that Sec Plus cert, because I know that so many jobs are like blocked off until you have that. So I didn't want to have the opportunity to get a job or an interview and then not have that yet, and then I'm just kind of like throw it away.
Okay.
Again, I'm new to this, so maybe that's not the issue, but definitely now I have the cert. I'm working on stuff like Try Hack Me and Hack the Box, and getting that application piece in. Now I will start applying to those jobs.
Right. Okay. So in a program, it's a weekly thing, right? It says you're supposed to apply to 50 jobs a week,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're supposed to do that starting with A plus. The reason for that is by the time you get Security Plus, there will be a snowball effect, right? So if you apply to 50 jobs a week, you'll have 300 applications by the time you get to a Security Plus, right? And another thing is broaden your horizons as opposed to I want to be blue team, purple team, I want to be a hacker, I want to be this. I think you need to kind of focus more in, okay, let me get into the door, right? Let me get into where I want to go to. So for you, is it what you want to do? Is it the salary, or like what's the main thing for Nick? The main thing, okay, and my next job, I'm looking for fill in the blank, because you got the skills, you got the certs. What are you really looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked with a couple people in the cybersecurity field as well, and I know, a lot of people have said like you'll probably have to start out at like a front desk or a help desk
Not
portion.
necessarily, but
Yeah. So like I think it's kind of like, as you're talking, like broaden what we're doing. The thing for me is I definitely would want to try to specifically get into that cybersecurity part instead of getting into that like just IT related part. Now, that's not to say I'm completely against doing that, but I just know that when I set my mind to something, it's something that I'm going to keep pushing forward. And I'm not necessarily like wanting to quit my job ASAP, but
right.
So I definitely want to put in the hours, put in that like those 2 or 3 months to really get that applied experience with cybersecurity to have a much more, I guess, a much stronger resume and interview. So I guess like that's kind of where my head is at right now, but I definitely understand that I also need to just broaden my horizon and be able to not necessarily just be like cybersecurity focused.
Okay. What base you work on?
Fort Bragg or Liberty
Fort Bragg.
now. Yeah.
All right. So cheat code, super easy. Don't know if you thought about this. Just do a government contracting. So there is on Fort Bragg, there's thousands of positions that you could apply for. And then I'm pretty sure in the unit that you service, they got officers, blah, 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 and you can pretty much make a connection there with your network. You should be able to get a gig pretty easily. Have you started trying to do that and maybe shooting your resume to different people on Fort Bragg? Because you should be able to just slide right in there.
Yes, I mean, part of also, I don't want to laterally move somewhere at Fort Bragg because I definitely want to move and live somewhere else. So like, while that's not the main reason, that's definitely one of the reasons. Like, I want to be able to live up in Raleigh and not have an hour and a half commute. So, I mean, if it's remote, cool, but I don't know how many GS jobs are remote as well. So while it definitely could be a good step, I think it's something that's not necessarily aligned with what I would want to do.
Okay, got you. So what about in Raleigh? Have we been applying for jobs in Raleigh?
Not yet.
Do it, man.
No,
I'm crazy.
I know I'm doing bad right now, but I've been so focused on the security or not the certs that it's been like focusing on that. And then I know that I've definitely taken a lot less time applying than what I should have.
But let me pat you on the back though. So what you did in a couple months, right? You got A+, Net Plus, Security Plus. People never get these and it take them years to get. So, kudos to you on that, first of all. Secondly, though, I want you to start getting the reps in, though, with applying for jobs. Just get used to applying for jobs in the interview, right? So the interviews will be tests, hands-on experience, whatever you want to say, or you would get experience getting interviews because you'll start getting used to how it is. Most of the times they call you, it'll be not a nobody because everybody's somebody, but somebody that's low on the totem pole. Hey, you got Sec Plus. Okay, that's great. Then the next person you talk to will be a little bit more technical. But then by the time you physically get in front of somebody, they'll want you to actually perform something. The good news is, or just, maybe just me looking from the outside, tell me if I'm wrong. I think it just may be a little bit of fear or a little bit of, I want to make sure I'm prepared. I want to make sure when I get in there, I'm going to do a good job, which we all want to do, but you kind of never know what they're going to do until you actually do it. And the good thing is, Nick, a lot of time they'll tell you what they're going to kind of cover, right? So we're going to be talking about firewalls, or we're going to be talking about a White House stuff, or gray hacker stuff, or what, or we want you to penetration. They're going to almost 90% of the time, they're going to give you some type of, it may be broad, but they'll give you something because a lot of times they know that in tech, you're going to Google stuff. You're going to look stuff up. And if you just blindside somebody, a lot of times it's like, and I already told you I never worked in tech for real. So I would say that's what I've been noticing with students. And that's kind of why it sounds crazy, like 50 jobs. Trust me, man, it works every time. And then a lot of times it's not even 50, it's kind of on the high side, to be honest. But usually when you do that, it makes things a lot easier. And then, like I said, I think the thing is you need to get the reps in just with the interviews. And then after a while, you'll be super confident because you're probably already confident, but it's kind of like, damn, I don't know. So I would definitely say start putting the reps in, whether you want it to be in Raleigh, you want it to be, obviously don't want to be Fort Bragg. Actually, it's funny. I actually got a guy that just got a drill sergeant in school. And he went to Fort Bragg and he was ecstatic about going to Fort Bragg. Everybody lives.
Oh, I'm sure it's a good location. It's just,
It was sarcasm. It was sarcasm.
Oh, okay, good.
It was sarcasm because I remember
Fayetteville is not the city to be in.
No, hell no. But only thing I can remember, because I remember I went to, when I was in the military, I had to go to training in Fort Bragg, and there was a sergeant major there, and I couldn't understand it. He was like, look, he wanted me to jump out of the airplane. I'm like, I
Yep.
don't see, if it's not blowing up, I'm not, he was like, just go, because it's going to look like I
Yep.
can't do it. I'm not doing it.
Airborne. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not doing it. But
Yeah.
one thing I want to say is this, right? So that's one of the things is, I mean, also the student I was telling you about that got a job, the exact template that we have on the drive is what she used to get the job, right? So a lot of times it's a layered approach. You got to know what the hell you're doing. You got to have the certs. The certs is kind of the big thing because they want to talk to you without those. But then you also have to have your resume good as well. So after this, make sure that you shoot. I think Angelica is your person. So shoot your resume if you haven't done so yet to Angelica. We can kind of look over it, see if it sucks or not, and then plug in what we think you need to update.
Yeah.
And then just use one of the templates off of the drive, and then that's in the program and stuff. And then, it can help. And then another thing is, no matter what, even if you hack the box, you're great, you're awesome, you're still gonna have to learn the way they do things. There's still gonna be certain softwares and certain approaches that they have. So just kind of just start, it's not shooting in the dark. You got these certs for a reason. And Nick, even though you may not believe it, hopefully you do, you're actually more qualified than you think, and you're a lot more qualified than a hell of a lot of people that's applying. So hopefully that was useful. But that's one of the things. If you start applying, you'll get a damn gig. And then the good thing is you have leverage as well. It's not like your light's about to get cut off or nothing like that. One question I want to ask though. So focusing on the certs, right? You started with the ITF Plus, right? Some people say, don't worry about it. You don't need it. Is that a good place to start? Do you think you could have just started with A plus, or what do you think about that?
No, I'm glad I started with ITF. I mean, that's the one that I failed, and that's the only one that I failed. So I think it's a really good foundational knowledge to know, because A plus was already so much information, but like from ITF to A plus was already a ton of information. So just starting at A plus, I'm sure most people could do it, but it's definitely like overwhelming.
Okay.
So, the same thing is like, I know Security Plus is the big one, and that's the one that most companies are going to look at. But being able to go from ITF to A plus to Network Plus, Security Plus, it gave me a much more foundational knowledge. So, when I was studying for Security Plus without knowing any other cert out there for like months, I was like, okay, so it's talking about a DNS, but like, what is a DNS, right? So like, it goes through like, DNS poisoning, but I'm like, what is a DNS, right? So like, I was definitely glad that I started way at the basics and then went forward.
Okay. So let's talk about that, because I'm pretty sure you can drop some jewels since you do mental performance. I can tell somebody something, right? But they don't really know until they experience it. I pretty much tell everybody that if you're going to be a tech, if you're going to be taking certs, you're going to fail. It just happens, right? Now, your failure, two questions. Your failure, was it your fault? Was it underprepared? Why do you think you failed? And then why didn't you quit when you failed?
So I always say something is my fault because I'm the one doing it.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I think I was not prepared enough. I do think the information on your website and your lectures is a lot of information, but I also think getting those outside resources just to kind of get a different perspective on things definitely helps broaden everything, and being able to understand it at a much larger, I guess, like area or picture. Yep. So I think I was able to create not necessarily a new game plan, but kind of supplement what I was doing with something else so that I could just continuously gain more and more information throughout that. So I guess like I would say like that was my perspective onward for that. And then, I mean, why didn't I quit? Because this is what I want to do. So I don't think there's an option for quitting, because if I set myself to do something, then I know I'm going to do it. I know it was definitely a bad feeling. I got that failure thing on there, and I was like, oh shit, dude, like that sucks. Like, because it's not like I got like a success before that. It was just like flat out, boom, you failed. And I'm like, oh crap. So
you were super close though, right?
Yeah. I think I was at like 650, and the pass is like 700 or something. I don't remember. Yeah. So I was close, but I guess at that point it didn't seem close, because I was like, I like by 50 points, which is like 4 questions or something, 5 questions. Yeah. Yep. So in that moment, I was like I failed like abysmally.
All right.
So no, I mean, you're always going to fail. Like that's a part of life. So you just need to figure out what you need to do differently, what your, sustains are, what your improves are, and just what you need to continue to push forward.
Got you. As far as somebody that's starting this, right? Somebody that's new, somebody that coming pretty much from, where you came from. Good idea, bad idea to do all this stuff by yourself.
By yourself, definitely not. I'm sure people could, but I think having a good layout and then also having videos to look at, having information to look at. And then, I talk with people in my cohort. We were able to talk and get through things. And I think you start to also have like an accountability partner to be able to be like, hey, make sure you're going on this, or maybe you have like video calls and go through like specific questions or scenarios or something that help you get prepared for the certs.
Got you. With tech being so vast, right? So broad, so big. Do you think people are taking the wrong approach as far as, because a lot of people, it's cybersecurity, it's the money. Do you think people are focusing on the wrong thing? Or a better question, do you think that the expectations may be a little bit different as far as the amount of work that somebody would have to put in as far as to pass these certifications or to even just land a job?
I definitely think it takes a lot more work than probably what most people would think starting out.
Yep.
I mean, I was, doing 20 to 30 hours a week each cert. I was able to knock out the Network Plus in 3 weeks, which was awesome.
Pause right there.
Yep.
So lately, seems that Security Plus we almost got like a damn 90% pass rate on that, right? But for a long time, Network Plus was one of the ones that just people in general seem to struggle with. Even CompTIA themselves said that, it had a pretty high failure rate. So what was different? Was it just you had kind of gotten the rhythm? I passed these certs. I kind of know, the stuff from the past ones, or like what was the difference? And do you think was Network Plus easier or harder than Security Plus?
Shoot.
Or it was about equal, what you think?
I think it was about equal, if not Net Plus being a little bit harder.
Okay. What do you think made it harder?
Honestly, partially anxiety because of this, the actual networking stuff. Which I surprisingly didn't get too many on the tests, which was weird. But I went through I watched yours, I watched another ones, I watched a bunch of different videos until I was like, okay, I finally understand like how to actually put the IPs together and like understand the bits and like getting the subnet mask and all that stuff. So that part I was like very nervous on.
Yep.
But the information wise, I guess maybe the only thing I could think of is like the questions on Net Plus might be a bit more obscure than the ones on Sec Plus.
Okay.
And also at the same point, when you're studying for Sec Plus, basically the only thing extra is the actual like security portion.
Yep.
So it's less information. Okay, maybe not less information, but you already know the basics of everything. Because when you're doing Network Plus, you're doing a lot of the same similar things that you would be doing in Security Plus. It's now just adding like I said, DNS poisoning. Now you're talking about that. What's it called? Like MAC. Now I'm
filtering.
Blanking. Yeah. No, not filtering. The attack where they just keep adding like more MAC addresses.
Flooding.
Yeah, MAC flooding, things like that. So you already understand like what the MAC address is, what DNS is, what ARP is. And it's just adding on like the possible attacks for those.
So Nick, I'm super proud of you, right? So a couple months ago, all the shit you just said, you would have no idea. You would have
no idea.
No idea at all. So let's just say we all know that you were a super trooper. Don't give up, blah, blah, blah. But I have a pretty good feeling. Let's just say that you said, I got it. Security Plus, I'm taking it first. I want to do this. I don't need these other certs, blah, blah, blah. You're smart, but you probably would have failed terribly, like really bad. Like, what the hell is this talking about? Do you think that would have changed your trajectory? Do you think that would have changed your course? Do you think it would have took you longer? How would your confidence been? Or what do you think? If you just took Sec Plus and failed it, I'm pretty sure you would have failed it pretty bad. Pretty much anybody that tries to take that their first cert without any background is hard as hell. But what do you think your outcome would have been?
Man, before even like when I was studying for a Sec Plus, I didn't know about any other certs. So I don't honestly know what I would have done. Like, I don't know if I would have, I'm sure at some point I would have been like, maybe I should take these other certs, or maybe I should like Google what other certs there are that are easier than Security Plus. But it would definitely take them longer for sure. And I would not have known that information that's in Security Plus, like I was saying. So it would definitely seem way more overwhelming. I would probably have, well, I 100% would have probably failed.
Yeah.
And then once I failed, I would have been like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't really know what this information is. Now, I mean, you can definitely, like, let's say you do the CompTIA study guide and stuff, and you can go parse through literally everything that they talk about on Security Plus, but it's just so much information that you still wouldn't understand the complexities of everything unless you take the other certs, in my opinion.
Got you. Makes sense. So, gang, heard from the horse's mouth, Nick just told you, the other certs are important, right? It's not just a money grab. It's not just, oh, take this stuff. Like, literally, if you want Security Plus, the other two that Nick already got, A plus and Network Plus, it just makes it 10 times easier just because, okay, I done heard this 100 times, 1,000 times. By the time you get to Security Plus, you know the networking portions, you know all this other stuff. Is just some of the hyper-focused cybersecurity stuff you may not know. And another thing Nick brought up is Security Plus, right? A lot of people, it'll be over with. They take Security Plus. I see it happen all the time. Not my students, but they take Security Plus and it's over with. They fail, and the disconnect or the distance is so far, Nick, that it's over with. It's like the passing score is 750 and they get a damn 400. So that automatically makes them correlate that I'm a dummy. This isn't for me. But it's just like, I don't know. If you don't know multiplication, you can't do fucking calculus, right? So that's pretty much how it goes. Now, one thing I did want to ask you is, as far as, community, accountability, that type of stuff. Okay, we got the community and you guys can hold each other accountable. But just for me, I think that your number one accountability partner would be yourself. So since you're a mental performance coach, not trying to get a free consultation or have you work for free, but what's some things that we can put in a program or just people could do on their own to keep themselves accountable and kind of keep themselves on task like you did?
I definitely would say create some sort of goal setting for yourself and make yourself do some type of challenge. Like, right, there's something called SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and timely. So create goals that are reachable, but also difficult for yourself. So if you want to say, like, I want to get through 3 modules on Core 1 A+ in the next 5 days, that's challenging, but it's doable. And it's something that you can continuously, like, keep yourself accountable for. Give yourself the date that you want to actually take the cert, and then work backwards from that and make sure you're actually, like, staying accountable with yourself. Because it's really easy. I mean, like, I definitely don't have a busier job or busier life than other people. I don't have kids. I have a girlfriend, but we're not, like, we're just chilling. I don't have a family. Right. So I have a full-time job. I wake up at 4:30 every morning, get to Fort Bragg by 5:30, work my 8 hours, drive back. I have about an hour commute both ways. During that time, I'll listen to stuff. I don't think that's like a wasted 2 hours. I think it's something that I can actually do something with. So it's really just about being efficient with your time and making sure that you're actually, like, putting in those hours when you have the time and creating time for yourself as well.
Got you. Okay. So true or false? People say they don't have time to study. What would you say?
True.
Okay. So when people say they don't have time to study, that is true?
No. But people do say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. It's true that people say that.
Say what?
No. They have a perceived lack of time.
Okay.
So they perceive that they have too much stuff to do when that's not necessarily reality. Like, yeah, everyone's different. People have busy schedules. But if you want something, you're going to make that a priority. You're going to change what you need to change to make it a priority.
Gotcha. So, because that's one of the things that a lot of people kind of get confused, kind of being busy with being productive. It's like, I got all this stuff on my to-do list, but is that really moving the needle? What is that really gonna do? Now, looking back, right? You got through all these certs in a couple months. Was that the right way to do it? If it was completely up to you, was that the right way to do it? Would you have rather took a slower approach, or what would have been the best thing for you, do you think?
I think that was definitely the right way to do it. Because now I can actually, I get through those, I get that information. Doing that quickly makes you have to efficiently study and efficiently learn the information. And then you can spend the time after that, like we talked about, applying to jobs or doing possible labs or looking for more information, rather than taking that, like, 6 or 8 months doing the certifications, just being stressed out about trying to study for those certifications, probably procrastinating in my opinion,
Yeah.
if you're waiting that long to do those certifications and then possibly like losing the knowledge that you have, especially like between certifications. I mean, I can already tell you I lost some type of knowledge between ITF and
For
Security
sure.
Plus.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're waiting like 8 months between those two, you're definitely going to lose something.
Got you. So just to piggyback off of what Nick said, another thing, like I see it happen time and time again, not to my students, but time and time again, is that somebody studies for A+ for 8 months, right? And then when they get to the 8 month mark, they say, "Damn, it's two tests." Like, yeah, you like if you didn't know it was two tests, you haven't been studying the right thing. And imagine you study for 8 months and you fail. And that's a lot of people's story. They waited, I studied, and then like Nick said, you weren't really studying. You were, studying for 15 minutes, TikTok 30 minutes, studying for 5 minutes, YouTube for an hour and a half. It wasn't really studying, really. Now, as far as what you want to ultimately do, you said you want to do the cybersecurity stuff. You want to be working remotely as well, or if possible, right? So, as far as working remotely, what would that do for you, or why is that the goal?
Definitely open up a lot of opportunities. I mean, I had to move Fayetteville for the job, and that's fine. But right now I live in Sanford, which is about an hour north of Fayetteville,
Okay.
just so I can be closer to Raleigh. Because my girlfriend also has a remote job and she can live anywhere, but she's stuck right here because of me. So
You're right.
it's also for family, and it's also to give us that convenience, be able to go buy the house, be able to go live where we want to live, and then not have to, I've been driving hour commutes for the last 5 years. And that's just something that I feel like
Time to get your time
I'm
back.
done with it. Yeah, I'm
Right,
done
right.
with it. So working remotely would definitely, either remotely or even like some type of hybrid. I think that would give me a lot more time and
Yep.
just being in an environment that I want to be in, like my house or something. Yeah, I would say those are the big reasons.
I got you. The good thing is that's definitely realistic. The only thing is most likely it's going to be hybrid at first.
Yeah.
Most of the time, quote unquote, your first position, they won't allow you to be fully remote until you get integrated into the system. Maybe want you to come in 2 or 3 times a week, or even maybe 4 days on, 1 day off. But eventually, pretty much once you show them that you can do the job, they don't care where you are. They really don't. Let's talk about some tips, man. So LinkedIn, how does that look for you? How does your LinkedIn look?
I'm sure it could be better. I put the
Okay.
certs on there and stuff. I have my jobs, but my job is unrelated to the cybersecurity field. So I'm sure my LinkedIn could be a lot stronger, something that I don't really necessarily know how to improve other than those certs I did. Maybe trying to do some sort of like hands-on lab so I can put in possible works that I've been doing. But other than that, definitely probably lacking.
So there's a couple live sessions on LinkedIn and specifically inside the program. So first thing I want you to do, if you haven't done so, do that LinkedIn session. Secondly, right, always focus on your goal. You said your goal is to be in Raleigh, North Carolina, right? So we don't have to, you can still do, I would still apply for stuff in Fort Bragg, maybe here's ones and twos because you're going there any damn way right now. But what you need to start doing is following and messaging recruiters in Raleigh, North Carolina, right? That work in tech jobs, that work in places that you want to be, because pretty much here's the sauce, right? Here's the secret that shouldn't be a damn secret. It's common sense. So pretty much you start following recruiters that fulfill positions in Raleigh, North Carolina. Then you start following people in the positions that you want to be in, right? So if you see cybersecurity analysts, cybersecurity XYZ, start following those people as well, right? And then don't be a weirdo. You already know not that. So you just reach out to them. Hey, I'm Nick. I just got these certs. I was just wondering if, XYZ, is there anything I could do for you? And if they say, yeah, blah, 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 do something for them. And then you kind of put in that ask like, hey, I'm really trying to transition. I'm driving an hour. I want to get off of Fort Bragg. Anything I could do, blah, blah, blah. But that's the easiest way to do it is getting connected with recruiters where you want to be, and then start pretty much following people that are working at the places that you want to work at, right? So you can get the vice president, then the CTO, then the front desk person. That's another win right there is, the front desk person, the help desk person, people at, just pretty much, hey, I seen Nick before. Hey, I seen Nick before. Because you already know a lot of times it's the skills, it's the certs, but it's also if they like you or not and if you fit into the thing. But one thing, you got to make sure that your LinkedIn is completely optimized. That's pretty much it. You got to make sure your LinkedIn is optimized and then start applying to as many jobs as you can think. And another thing is this, right? We got about, I want to say like 7 or 8 templates on the drive and in the program that you can use, right, for different positions. So to make things easy, you can have one for cybersecurity analyst. You can have one for network engineer. You can have one for, so pretty much have a couple different templates and then just plug your stuff in and just start applying. So that one click apply is a little bit easier. But basically, if your LinkedIn is cool, if you start following the right people and you start applying to 50 jobs, you will be in Raleigh in no time. Pretty much, and your goal will be achieved, but you just got to put in the work, which isn't really that much work. And then it's like you said, start doing, KPIs, key performance indicators. Okay, this is how many jobs I'm applied to. This is how many jobs that I actually applied to by the end of the week. That's another thing. If you don't track it, the shit ain't happening. So you can say, okay, I applied for hundreds of jobs, but then if you go back, damn, I only applied for 19. Actually, it just felt like hundreds of jobs. So that's definitely something I would do. But that's another thing. Tell Angelica, I can have Mike, that we need to review your LinkedIn. Right? It's probably just some little stuff that you need to change. But the main thing is just using it to connect with people that's doing whatever you want to do. So let's come up with some deadlines like you talked about. So when is Nick going to be working in North Carolina? By when? Yeah. What's the deadline?
What's the 28th of March? I want to say by June 1st.
My man, June 1st. Okay, let's say, now this has got a little bit more optimistic. We're going to be working in North Carolina no matter what, in tech, and by June. So what, are we going to be in cybersecurity, or are we just going to be in IT in general, or what are we going to be doing? What are we
I'd definitely like to be in cybersecurity.
So I'm gonna hold you to this, man. Now, the one thing I wanted to ask is this. You got all these certs, you got all this knowledge, blah, blah, blah. Right now, Nick, should you be getting more certs?
I think it depends on the cert.
Okay.
I think if the cert, there's that one, that blue team SOC level 1, whatever cert that is. I've heard it has labs, so it's something that's like applied. So if it's something like that, maybe. I don't think I'd get the CYSA plus, CISA plus, whatever it is. I wouldn't do that. So I'd say probably like that other one. I think I've heard a lot of companies still don't really know that one, or it's not like super well known, but if it has something that has like labs and for me to understand, I guess like the application piece more, then I would say yes.
Okay.
Other than that, probably not.
Okay.
For now.
Got you. So right now, do you think what would be more beneficial for you? Would certs, like working on another cert, or actually landing a job? What would be more beneficial just for right now and just for your career in general? What do you think?
For sure, landing a job.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, I'd like to get that application piece more, and then maybe if the job's like, hey, you want to do the cert, then I'll be like, yeah, sure. You want to pay for it?
For sure. Yeah. Is there anything I could do for you? Anything you need from me other than, like I said, shoot Angelica your resume and your LinkedIn right now, and then we just kind of review that, and just probably gonna be just a few tweaks we need to do.
Man, I guess not much. Just we don't necessarily have to do stuff like this, but I think it's helpful to be able to either talk with you or Angelica and just figure out like continue. I know that LinkedIn and the resume is definitely going to help a lot, but definitely just like session.
And I don't even know what the hell month it is. This is March. So in May, we're actually launching like a weekly coaching thing. So that kind of be like the next step after this. But by And the good thing is you need to always be applying, just so you have that stuff in the chamber, because you may get an awesome job and here come even a better job, right? The Zero to IT Hero program, was it a good idea for you to join? Do you want your money back? Or
you're an enthusiastic teacher. You definitely can tell like you're enthusiastic, and the cohort piece is definitely possibly like a bit more information in some of the certs, because sometimes it's, and then I know you updated the A plus, so that would have been an improve, but you already updated the A plus. If possible, I don't know how possible this is, but adding some practical exercises or like labs.
Okay.
I know you had a few that, they showed like a picture and then the question was below it, but I don't know how necessarily you would add labs or more practical exercises in there, but I think that would definitely be useful to even make it more tangible for people to understand it more.
Perfect. Got you. Got you. So think that it is just, and then good stress, right? It's going to be so many fucking opportunities where you're going to be like, oh man, it's going to, and then you'll be able to kind of have that leverage. And another thing, just going forward, how can I say? Money is good, right? Money is good. It's great. We need it, but just make sure that you're focusing on the culture and feeling appreciated, right? Because it's cool making 100 grand, but not if they, treating you like shit every day. So
Yeah.
Just kind of make sure that you fit in wholly. Cause like I had one student or a couple of students, cause like, some places, some people like certain things, blah, blah. Like I've had students to where like the money was good, but the culture just didn't align with, maybe they were like a suit and tie type of person and this was more like a flip flop type organization or vice versa. So just make sure that you kind of check all those boxes. But now we're just gonna worry about getting our foot in the door and then running the bag up and getting a place that we love. So other than that, Nick, man, I'm super proud of you, man. I know a couple months ago we met, you enjoyed the program. Now you got all these certs. All you got to do is start applying. And